I spent 4 months in rehab. I came home to find it completely empty. My 22-year-old daughter had sold everything, even the appliances on the wall. She left a note saying I was controlling and that she needed to be free. But she didn't know that the man who convinced her to do this had already stolen over $500,000 from 5 other women. But before I tell you, subscribe to the channel. For you, it might just be a click, but for us, it's the fuel to keep bringing you real and impactful stories like this one. Already subscribed? Now let me tell you what happened. I found my house empty on a Thursday in June, 4 months after the accident that nearly killed me. Not empty, like needs furniture. Empty like a gutted fish. The front door swung open in the breeze. Inside, every surface was bare. The Persian rug from Istanbul, gone. Richard's medical lithographs, vanished. Even the appliances had been ripped out, leaving jagged holes in the countertops. On the kitchen island sat a single piece of paper, weighted by a rock. Amber's handwriting. Mom, I met someone who showed me who you really are. I sold everything to start my life. Finally, don't look for me. A bean underneath. A photograph from her high school graduation. Her face cut out, leaving a ragged hole. Around it, in her writing, you never needed me. Just a version of me that doesn't exist. My legs gave out. I collapsed on the marble floor, my titanium-fused spine screaming. Dr. Morrison's warning echoed. No falls, Claire. But the pain in my back was nothing compared to the pain in my chest. I stayed there 40 minutes until my phone buzzed. Jessica from next door. Welcome home. Those moving trucks were here for weeks. Such a good daughter, helping you downsize. Weeks. This wasn't impulse. This was calculated. I dragged myself to the basement. 1 cardboard box remained. Richard's belongings, his diploma, his wedding ring. But his $90,000 lithograph collection, gone. His vintage pocket watches, vanished. At the bottom, Amber's white coat from medical school, pinned to it. I was never going to be him. Why did you need me to be? Detective Marcus Huang called. Did you authorize Amber to sell your belongings? My voice came out clinical. No. The house is empty, Marcus. He arrived 20 minutes later, found me pulling up sales records online. These aren't under her name, he said, studying my laptop. They're under an LLC. Ashford Consulting Group. Claire. Someone helped her. Someone who knows how to hide money. While he researched, I checked my bank accounts. The emergency fund, $47,000, was at 0. 3 transfers labeled A. Whitmore, personal. My phone buzzed. Email from unknown sender. You should see this. A video attachment showed a black Range Rover at my house, 2 a.m., 2 weeks ago. A man in an expensive suit let himself in with a key, emerged carrying boxes. The license plate was visible. Marcus texted back within seconds. Dominic Ashford, 43, Greenwich CT. Reported to police 6 times by families of young women. Every case dropped because the women refused to press charges. I stared at that message, then typed, "Send me everything you have on him." 3 minutes later, 27 pages. Dominic Ashford's history. By page 10, I understood. He wasn't just a con man. He was a predator with a system. And my daughter was his latest mark. That night, I searched his social media. Found a photo from 3 weeks ago. Dominic at a restaurant, surrounded by young women in expensive clothes. And there, on the right, wearing designer everything, and a smile I didn't recognize, was Amber. She looked radiantly happy, happier than I'd seen her since Richard died. She was smiling at him. 3 days later, Dr. Morrison asked about my pain level. Manageable. I lied. Truth was closer to an 8. Are you taking the Norco? I looked at my trembling hands. I stopped. His head snapped toward me. Claire. I cut him off. I need to be sharp. What I didn't say. Sharper than the man who stole my daughter. That afternoon, Marcus slid a folder across the diner table. Dominic Ashford, complete history. It's worse than we thought. Inside were profiles of 5 women, ages 21-24. Combined, they liquidated approximately $540,000 in family assets over 3 years. My stomach dropped. Marcus explained Dominic's method. Isolation first. Convince them families are toxic. help them liquidate assets to invest in themselves. But the money flows through his companies. "Where's the rest of Amber's money?" I asked. Marcus showed me bank records, offshore accounts, Cayman Islands. He gives some back, just enough to keep them hooked. Amber's checking account showed small deposits, always from Ashford Consulting Group. Enough to survive, not enough to leave. Over the next 2 weeks, I became obsessed. 12-hour days at my brother David's apartment, hunched over my laptop until my spine screamed. One night, I found a Reddit post, "Finally broke free from toxic mother." The details were too specific. This was Amber, posting our private grief online, strangers validating her version where I was the villain. David read it. "Claire, there's truth in this. You did put pressure on her after Richard died." My throat tightened. "I never said she had to be a doctor." He looked at me sadly. "You didn't have to. She asked me about art history sophomore year. Said you'd be disappointed." I stood too fast. My spine shrieked. Would I have supported her? Honestly? Or would I have steered her back toward medicine, toward Richard's path, toward the version that kept him alive? At 3 a.m., Marcus texted, "Dominic had a daughter. She died 12 years ago. Overdose." He sued her best friend's family afterward, claiming they provided drugs, settled for $180K. "Claire, he used his daughter's death to extort money. This wasn't just about money. This was pathological." 3 days later, I met Sienna Rodriguez, one of Dominic's victims. She'd lost $120,000. "Why should I help you?" I showed her Amber's photo. "Because he's training her to do what Olivia does. Recruit the next victim." Sienna's expression shifted. "There's a girl. Harper Castellano, Yale freshman. Amber's been posting about her. Her mom just died. She's worth millions." That night, Marcus called. "I have an idea." Leonard Watts, ex-FBI financial crimes investigator. 2 days later, I met Leonard in a parking garage. "Marcus says you need someone buried." I liked him immediately. He refused payment. "My daughter was almost recruited by a similar scam. I want this as much as you do." Over the next week, Leonard found everything, offshore accounts. A spreadsheet titled Client Acquisition Pipeline, with Amber listed as Phase 3, Integration, next to her name, Harper C., pending intro, est, value, $800K. My daughter wasn't a partner. She was a tool. Then I did something I hadn't allowed myself since finding the house empty. I called Amber's phone. After 4 rings, she answered. "Mom?" Her voice was different, harder. "Amber, can we talk?" Silence. Then, "Okay, tomorrow. Starbucks in Greenwich, noon." There's a moment where the victim stops bleeding and starts sharpening the blade. Mine happened in that Starbucks, watching my daughter sip a macchiato purchased with stolen money. She wore Burberry, designer, everything. My daughter, who used to shop at Target, now draped in armor Dominic had bought her. "You look good," I said carefully. "I am good," Amber replied. "Better than I've ever been." The emphasis on ever was deliberate. A knife. I absorbed it. "I'm glad. I was worried." She laughed, brittle. "Of course you were. Always hovering. Always needing me to be something I'm not." "You're right," I said. She blinked. Thrown. "I did hover. After your dad died, I put too much on you. I made you responsible for grief that was mine." She hadn't expected agreement. Good. I came to apologize. And to sign over the house. I slid papers across the table. She stared like they might explode. "Why?" "Because you were right. It was your dad's dream. I tried to make you live in it. That wasn't fair." For a second, I saw my daughter underneath the armor. Then it snapped back. "I don't want the house. I have my own place." "In Greenwich?" She stiffened. "How? Your mail still came. Before you sold the mailbox. I'm not discussing my life with you. I just want to make sure you're safe. That whoever you're with..." "Don't," she cut me off. "Don't pretend to care when you're just trying to control me." My spine throbbed. "Amber, do you have access to the money from the sales?" Confusion crossed her face. "What? The $200,000. Where is it?" "That's none. Is it in an account you can access? Or does Dominic manage it?" She stood up. "I'm not doing this. But I'd seen her check her phone 3 times, seen her glance nervously toward the door, seen her hand shake reaching for her coffee. She wasn't free. She was terrified. Leonard appeared the moment she left. I got everything, clean audio. That night, we laid out our evidence. David said, proving coercion in court is nearly impossible. Then we don't go through court, I said. Dominic can hide from fraud charges, but he can't hide from the IRS. Leonard smiled. You want tax evasion. Over the next 2 weeks, he traced every dollar. Dominic reported maybe 20% of his income. Total unreported, $400,000. Leonard also found recordings, Dominic's coaching notes, strategies for isolation, dependency, manipulation. One recording, Amber Whitmore, excellent progress. Mother's guilt makes her perfect leverage. Next step, introduce her to Harper C. That night, I sent Amber an email from a burner account with a 30-second clip of Dominic saying, Amber's useful because she believes she's a partner. By the time she realizes she's a tool, we'll already have Harper's money. 20 minutes later, she called. Mom. Her voice was small, childlike. Is it real? Yes. Silence. I don't believe you. Amber, I have 40 more. He documented everything. No, he loves me. He loves Harper Castellanos' $800,000 trust fund. Silence. How do you know about Harper? He wrote it down. In a spreadsheet. With your name next to hers and a dollar amount. The line went dead. Leonard called minutes later. Dominic just booked a one-way ticket to Belize. Leaves in 72 hours. He's running. If he takes Amber, you lose her. I thought about my daughter at 7, at 12, at 17. Send everything to FinCEN. We stop him now. At 2 a.m., Amber texted, I need to see you. Tomorrow, but not alone. My heart stopped. Marcus called immediately. It's a trap. I know, but she asked to see me. I'm showing up. The meeting place was a park in Greenwich. When I arrived, Amber stood next to Dominic Ashford. Tall, handsome, expensive suit. He smiled, extended his hand. Mrs. Whitmore. I didn't take it, just looked at Amber. You wanted to talk? She crossed her arms. Dominic wanted to meet you, to understand why you're harassing us. Dominic stepped forward, still smiling. Claire, I understand you're in pain. You lost your husband, nearly lost your life, but holding on too tight is how you lose people. I looked at him, saw the calculation. You're right. I did hold on too tight, but you know what else is wrong? Convincing a vulnerable 22-year-old to liquidate $200,000 and keeping 95% offshore. His smile never wavered. I don't know what you're talking about. Cayman Islands. Belize. 3 shell corporations. Want me to list account numbers? The smile flickered. Amber stepped forward. He's helping me invest. In what? Where's the return? Dominic recovered. Claire, grief and pain medication. I stopped taking medication to investigate you, and I found 5 other women. Same pattern. Combined losses over $500,000. Olivia Chen, Sienna Rodriguez, Madison Hayes, Zoe Brennan. Amber's face went pale. I pulled out my phone and played the recording. Amber's useful because she believes she's a partner. By the time she realizes she's a tool, we'll already have Harper's money. Dominic lunged. Marcus appeared, blocking him. I wouldn't. Dominic backed off, smile gone. I looked at Amber. He had a daughter, Chloe. She died at 17. After her funeral, he sued her best friend's family for $180,000. He used his daughter's death to extort money. Now he's doing the same with other people's daughters. Tears streamed down Amber's face. Is it true? She whispered. Dominic's expression hardened. Don't listen to her. Is it true? He didn't answer. The park went silent except for Amber crying. Leonard appeared. Dominic Ashford. Leonard Watts. Former FBI. $400,000 in unreported income over 3 years. Shell corporations. Offshore accounts. The IRS is going to have a field day. Dominic's phone buzzed. Whatever he saw made him go rigid. This isn't over, he said quietly. Actually, it is, I said. We're filing a class action civil suit. And Amber's going to testify. He looked at Amber. You know what we had was real. She looked up, mascara running. Did I ever have access to the money? Silence. Did I? She screamed. He didn't answer. Get away from my daughter. He walked away. I turned to Amber. Honey, don't. She held up her hand. You were right. He used me. I was so stupid. You were grieving. He's a professional predator. She wiped her face. I sold Dad's watches, his art, everything that mattered to you. You mattered to me, more than any of it. She looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. Do I? Or do you just want me to matter the way Dad mattered? The accusation hung in the air. I felt something crack. You're right. I did that. I made you responsible for him. For grief that wasn't yours. I'm sorry. She stared. That's it. You're just sorry. What else can I say? I can't undo the pressure. But I see you now. Not who I wanted you to be. You. Silence. I have 347. That's all that's left. My heart broke. We'll figure it out. I can't come home. There's no home. Then we'll build a new one. Together. If you want. She looked at me. I don't know if I can trust you. I know. But I'm going to earn it. She handed back my phone. I need time. To figure out who I am without him. Without you. It hurt. But I nodded. Take all the time you need. 6 months later, I stood in a small Brooklyn apartment unpacking boxes. My back still hurt. It always would. But I'd learned to live with it. Leonard had been right about the IRS. They'd seized Dominic's accounts and indicted him on 7 counts of tax evasion. But he'd fled to Belize before arrest. There was a warrant. If he came back, he'd go to prison. It wasn't perfect justice, but it was something. The civil suit was pending. 4 of us had joined. Our lawyer estimated we might recover 8,100 KO divided among us. It would take years, but I'd learned patience. Amber knocked at 3. She looked healthier. Natural hair color. Jeans and sweater instead of designer armor. She'd gotten a job at a nonprofit, $18 an hour. Not glamorous, but hers. Hey, Mom. Hey, honey. We were trying. Twice-a-week dinners. Family therapy. Thursdays. Awkward. Painful. Honest work. We fought sometimes. She had anger. I had guilt. But we showed up. How's Olivia? Good. Stanford said she can re-enroll. And you? Maybe community college. Liberal arts. Figure out what I actually want. That sounds perfect, I said, and meant it. We unpacked in silence. Then, Harper Castellano emailed. She wanted to thank you. I'd warned Harper months ago. How is she? Starting therapy. She said she almost gave Dominic $50,000. You saved her. One life saved before it was destroyed. We saved her. You could have kept recruiting. You didn't. Her eyes filled. I was so close to becoming him. But you didn't. That's what matters. Do you think we'll ever be okay? I thought about the years ahead. The trust to rebuild. I don't know. But I think we'll be something. Maybe better than okay. Maybe just real. That night, alone, I took stock. I'd lost a house. $200,000, 3 years. My surgical career, my spine worked differently now. But I'd gained perspective. The knowledge that love without listening is just control. Marcus texted about dinner, Leonard about the money recovered, maybe $25K after fees. Amber, Olivia and I are starting a support group for people who've been through financial manipulation. Will you help? Just being there for families. I read that 3 times. My daughter, turning trauma into purpose. I'd be honored. Proud of you. Her response, still mad at you sometimes. I know, that's okay. But also love you. Love you too. Always. The next morning, physical therapy. Then a cafe. I watched a mother and daughter fight on the sidewalk outside. Recognized that exhaustion. Wanted to tell them it gets different, but kept quiet. Some lessons you learn by surviving. Amber texted, I met someone, Nathan, works at a bookstore, has tattoos, is vegan. We're taking it slow. I felt the old panic, the need to control. Breathed through it. I'd love to meet him. When you're ready. Maybe next month. Perfect. Another text. Thank you for not giving up. Even when I gave up on you. I sat there crying. The barista glanced over. I waved her off. I was fine. Better than fine. I was here. Broken in places that would never heal. But here. breathing, fighting, learning. I finished my coffee and walked into April sunshine. My back ached, but I was walking. 6 months ago, I'd found my house empty. Now I had a small apartment, a daughter who answered calls, a support system I'd never let myself need. It wasn't the life I'd planned, but it was a life. For the first time since Richard died, I felt something like peace. Not happiness, but peace. The quiet knowledge that I'd survived. I thought about Dominic in Belize, exiled. It wasn't prison, but it was consequence. Justice isn't always perfect. I thought about Amber and Olivia rebuilding, about Harper Castellanos safe at Yale. Small victories. When I got home, I looked through photo albums. Amber at 3, 10, 15, 18. I'd spent so long mourning the daughter I wanted that I'd missed the daughter I had, but not anymore. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Claire, this is Sienna. Thank you. I'm in school again, studying to be a vet. Finally. Proud of you. You did the hard part. We all did. She was right. 6 women choosing to fight instead of hide. That was its own justice. The last text came at midnight. Amber, can't sleep. Is it always going to be this hard? I thought about lying, but we'd promised honesty. Sometimes, but you get stronger, and the hard days get further apart. Promise. Promise. And when it's hard, you call me, anytime. Even if I'm still mad. Especially then. Okay. Love you, Mom. Love you, baby. Always. I set down my phone and closed my eyes. My spine ached. My heart was scarred. But I'd survived. We'd survived. And that was enough. What a story, right? Tell me below. Would you forgive Amber? Comment below. If you're not already part of our community, subscribe to the channel. There's an exciting story every week waiting for you. And look, there's another amazing video popping up on your screen right now. Click on it and come with me. I'll be waiting for you there.